Minnesota has 6 turnovers here in the fourth quarter. Christian Braun goes right at Gobert! Oh, what a slam for Christian Braun!
That right there is Christian Braun, and prior to this season, he was known for, well, he wasn't really known at all. Because when the Denver Nuggets decided to trade away a key piece of their championship team in Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, a lot of people thought it was a bad idea. Not just because KCP was a great player for Denver, but most people didn't believe, nor really had any idea what kind of player Christian Braun was. Well, you know what kind of player Christian Braun is? He's the kind of player that does things like this on a consistent basis.
And maybe get out on a break.
Meanwhile, Christian Braun switching hands in midair, flushing it with the left hand.
The Jayhawk.
But Christian Braun has gone from a good defender who played with energy on the offensive side of the floor to a legitimate weapon for the Denver Nuggets. I mean a legitimate weapon, because 10 games into the season, you can make an argument that the second best player on this Nuggets team has been Christian Braun, and at the very worst, he's been the third best. Oh, I'm being completely serious, because his combination of athleticism, physicality, and aggression on both ends of the floor has turned him into not just a favorite for the Most Improved Player award, but a clear upgrade on Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Because through 10 games, he's averaging 16 and 5 a game on ridiculous shooting splits of 55, 49, 81. Now, do I expect him to continue shooting nearly 50% from 3? The answer is obviously no. Although I will say it's not unreasonable to expect 40% because that's the shot that teams are willing to give him, and he's more than capable of knocking down open threes, but the extra 3 points a game he's getting from his 3-point shooting this year clearly isn't the reason for his jump. It is the fact he has turned himself into a serious downhill threat. We saw the glimpses of it during his first 2 years in the league. We even saw him take over a fourth quarter in the NBA Finals because of his ability to get to the rim in transition, but he's gone from someone who can give you occasional offense and good energy on defense to just a consistent 15 points a night. Look at him here against Chris Boucher, crossing him one way, back the other way, and then the ability to hang and finish over the outstretched arms of Pirtle. I promise you, Christian Braun was not doing that last year, and you can even see Bruce Brown on the bench give a little nod of approval, thinking exactly the same thing. Or how about this play, which I really like, where he gets the pass from Jokic, he fakes out the first defender mid-air, and look at the adjustment to jump right, avoiding the charge. That seems like such a minor detail, but so many players, particularly young players, would just run straight over Isaiah Joe in that situation and get called for a charge. And I mentioned it just before, but it's the consistency that has been quite remarkable. Last season he scored 10 or more points 27 times, which wasn't bad, but that's a 33% rate. In other words, 1 in every 3 games. This year he scored double digits every single game. Obviously it helps when you're playing more minutes and it's a smaller sample size, but I don't think even the biggest Christian Braun fans, and I've been a pretty big fan myself, could have predicted he'd be giving you 15 points practically every single night on good efficiency. That's the kind of production you pay close to $25 million a year for in the modern NBA. I mean, KCP just signed for over 20, giving you 2/3 of this production. Now, this is a video about Christian Braun, and he deserves every bit of credit for the improvement he has made, but there is one pretty large factor when it comes to his increase in production. It's not just the added minutes or responsibility, but there is a guy called Nikola Jokic, and if you haven't realized by now, practically every single player who plays alongside him becomes the best version of themselves. Even look at guys like Peyton Watson and Russell Westbrook this season, who have spent time coming off the bench and starting, and the numbers they have put up as starters are so drastically different, in large part due to how many easy looks you get playing with possibly the greatest offensive player ever. And Christian Braun is no different. Like on this play where Gaffer decides, I'm gonna leave Christian Braun wide open to double team Nikola Jokic, and well, that's a layup that all of of us could make. Or in this play where Shea gets lost in Jokic's beautiful eyes. I mean, who could blame him? And forgets he has to play defense, so Braun is wide open under the rim for, again, another easy finish. But it does take two to tango. Is that even the saying? I don't know, but what I'm saying is you have to give credit to Braun for having such great instincts as a cutter, knowing when and where to be at the right times to capitalize on Jokic's playmaking and gravity. Obviously those plays were elementary, but a play like this where Jokic has it on the block, Braun cuts at the right time, and then the ability to hang and finish on what probably should have been an and one. There aren't many shooting guards in the league with that level of physicality attacking the rim, and Denver are really benefiting from that. But there's one area of Braun's game where he can repay Jokic for making life easy, and that's on the defensive end of the floor. Now, this isn't the best timing because Kyrie just dropped 40 points on him, but Kyrie is also completely unguardable, and you could have transported prime Scottie Pippen or Gary Payton into that game, and he still would have had at least 30. But generally speaking, Braun is a good defensive player, using that physicality and size to match up against wings or guards, depending on what is required from him. And one thing about his defense that is really great is his ability to absorb contact and then hang and either contest the shot or even just block it. Like here against James Harden, one of the most physical guards in the league, CB absorbs that bump, and then the verticality to block his shot is just elite. Or how about this play where Thomas beats him off the dribble initially, but look at the recovery from behind to block the jumper in such a high leverage situation. It can be frustrating watching players with such great physical tools not be engaged defensively and not use those tools to their advantages, but Braun is definitely not one of those players. Even on nights like against Kyrie where he gets beat, it's never through a lack of effort. And that's important because KCP was the exact same as someone who played hard defense every single night. So it was only right the Nuggets replaced him with someone who does the same, and someone with a bit of size, not Facundo Campazzo, Austin Rivers, or Marcus Howard. And that's pretty much what Jokic said about CB's impact on the Nuggets as well.
I really appreciate whatever, being a rookie, playing hard, earning minutes. I really respect players who nothing is given to them, and he is really earning every minute, especially on defensive end, and he's playing really good since the season start. He's playing really well.
I think the next question is just how good can Christian Braun be? Because myself, and I'm sure others, were just looking at him to be a solid starter and contributor, but he's improved his handle, he's improved his shooting, he continues to make some decent reads as a passer, and his defense has always been pretty good. Now, I think he'd have to improve his handle a fair bit more to become a consistent 20-point per game scorer, because right now, he's really good at using his speed and athleticism to get downhill, but that is normally with the help of Jokic creating an advantage from the defense loading up on him. If Braun were to take that next leap, he'd have to prove he can create on a consistent basis without having teams help off him in order to pressure Jokic or sometimes Murray and Westbrook with the ball. Regardless of if that happens or not, this version of Christian Braun right now is an elite role player, and elite role players win championships, hence his record as a winner. Now, if you did make it to the end of the video and want to see more content like this, consider subscribing. It's free. Dropping a like on the video would be much appreciated. Most importantly, have a great day. Bye.